everyone, it's Danny. Welcome back to my channel and another December Daily catch-up video. This is for the 25th of December, so we're nearly done. I have one more video after this just showing my finishing bits and bobs, but this is the last day in my documenting. I only go up to Christmas Day, sometimes Boxing Day if we have Christmas activities then. It is going to be 2 pages because I have a few photos that I want to include. This first page is just going to be for our Christmas morning, so it's just photos of the kids with their new presents. So I've just added some of that candy cane paper there, and on this other side I'm going to add some more of this white pom-pom trim that I've used a fair bit of throughout this album. I just love this, and I have a little bit left over to use this year too. So once I have that glued down, I am going to come in with my photos and do a little bit of photo matting. And again, I'm mostly using scraps here. I love this candy cane stripe paper that I think was from Echo Park a few years ago. And I am trying to keep this page mostly red and white just because I am using that craft Santa card that I got from a stack of like pre-folded, pre-made Christmas cards that I have not made a single Christmas card out of. All I've used them for was this December Daily album, and I've used actually quite a lot of them. And I really like the colour scheme. So there you go, that Santa. It's hard to see on camera, but he's actually a bit glittery. All the parts of his beard and like the fluffy bit of his robe is glitter, so it's really fun. So I'm just sticking those 2 photos down, and then I'm sticking my card down just right in the center. This is going to be my number. This is punched out from a Kaiser Craft paper, one of those advent papers that has all the numbers. So I've just stuck that straight onto the page, and I liked it because it's got the red and the craft that matches that Santa card. I'm just going in with my Uniball Signo Broad gel pen in white here and just going around the numbers, just tracing the outline. I just felt like it wasn't popping off the page well enough, and I really like it now that I've done that white outline. I'm also going to add some over on the card here as well, just to again help it stand out from the background. Just doing a messy sketchy border. And now I'm going to pull out my sticker book. This is a Happy Planner seasonal book that I've had for quite a while now, and I'm just going to try and use up some bits and pieces. So I'm going to pop in a couple of these little snowmen, even though it's definitely not winter here during Christmas, but I still like the imagery, and they're fairly neutral, so I thought they would fit in nicely. And these clear stickers, I find they can be quite hard to use, so when I have a page like this where the majority of the background is white, I find they're a lot easier to use. So this is another way to use those clear stickers if you're struggling with them, is just to back them on some white paper. So that's what I've done here, and I'm just going around and fussy cutting out the excess. And I was planning on filling in this gap with these, but they're just a bit too big, so I end up popping them over here next to Santa, and they actually fit quite nicely here, so that's a bonus. So I do end up pulling out my Echo Park sticker sheet. I still don't get nearly enough of these used up, sadly, but I do get that little present on. And then I remembered I had fussy cut a bunch of little gifts out of one of the pattern papers from that same collection. It was a Merry and Bright collection from a few years ago anyway. And I'm just going to use those to fill out this little cluster, and then I am going to pop another little present stack down the bottom here. Sweet little gifts. And then I'm popping in some washi. So I have pulled out some of that Simply Gilded 5mm foiled bow washi, and I'm just popping that top and bottom there. It's a really pretty bright cherry red colour. And then I'm also going to try and use up some more of these stickers from this Kaiser Craft sticker sheet. So these are all sticker sheets that I've been trying to get used up during this project, but I still have quite a lot of leftovers, sadly. So, but I think I did pretty well. Considering I didn't buy any new supplies for this project, it was all stuff I already had. So I think I did pretty well getting through all that. Now moving on to the second page of day 25, I have these 2 photos of my little family. So it was just the 5 of us for Christmas. So me, my husband, my son, my daughter, and my nana. And my daughter isn't on this page, but she is on the previous page, so I don't feel too bad. She really doesn't like being in photos, so it's really hard to actually get her to, get into group shots especially. So yeah, I'm happy to just have her on the first page. She's not been forgotten. She just, we're not going to force her to do things she doesn't like to do. So I'm just popping on some pattern papers here. I'm layering up, mainly I'm layering on that beige colour because that mint paper was only just wide enough, not quite wide enough to fill in the full page. So I've overlaid with that beige kind of leaf pattern, and I just punched out the edge with a notebook pattern punch because I like the texture. And it overlays over the edge there, so you have all those little tabby bits hanging off. I really love textural elements like that in those kind of albums. And both those papers are from older Kaiser Craft collections. So I'm just taking both my photos and stacking them on top of each other like this into one single photo and matting that whole thing on white. And they are going to sit nicely on that side. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick it straight down. And yeah, like I said, using that kind of beigey craft coloured pattern paper was kind of an afterthought, but I really love how it looks, so I'm going to use it on the other page as well. Also really pleased I managed to use up the rest of that tree sticker, that strip sticker at the bottom there. I've been trying to use that up the last few days of this project, and I finally got it on the last page. So for this other page, I'm going to pull across that same craft and white leaf pattern paper, and I'm just cutting it a little wider so that I can make a flip out of it. So the other side, as you can see, is that photorealistic like pine tree branches paper that I used to back the Christmas tree on the 24th, so the day before this. And I really love both sides of this paper, so that makes it perfect for a flip. So I have just cut it to size, and then I've just used my trimmer as a guide to score that fold line there. And I've also got these bits and pieces that I cut out. They're actually left over from when I made my advent calendar. So they're from a Kaisercraft like 2x2 inch cut apart sheet. So I had a bunch of the phrases and sayings left over. I used all the numbers on the advent calendar except the 25. So I still had the 25 and all the phrases. So I'm just going through and distressing the edges of some of the ones I might like to use. And I'm really loving how the kind of mint green, pale blue kind of colour that is going on in this paper really complements that craft. So I'm just going to back some of these, well, I'm going to back all of these in some white paper just to really make them pop, because they were kind of fading away a little into the pattern paper of the background. So I've just trimmed all those down, just giving them a slight white border and then distressing that as well. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use some of them as decoration, but a couple of them I'm going to overlap over the edge so that they are usable as kind of tab page turners. So there you go. I realize at this point that they're not all going to fit stacked like that. So what I end up doing is just overlapping the two center ones. So yep, just like that. So I'm just using some wet glue to really glue these down. I don't want them going anywhere, especially the ones that are going to be used for the page turning. So basically this 25 is going to make a really nice little tab. There we go. And I really like the silver foil on these as well. So I do use a kind of mix of metallics throughout this album. And I hadn't used silver in a while, so I thought this would be a nice way to finish off the album. So I'm just going through and adding a couple more squares. I didn't really like that navy one. It was just a bit too dark and overbearing. So I have just cut out a square the same size of that nice mint green check pattern there. And that's just going to go there. I'm just putting these on the back because I just didn't want those big chunks of white paper for no reason at the back. So I've just traced around the outside of where that flap sits when it's closed, because I'm going to do a little bit of not so hidden journaling. So this is my journaling that I printed out. I used a Christmas themed font actually, which I thought was pretty cute, and I'm just cutting out strips, and I'm going to make it so that when the page flip is closed you can't see the journaling. Once you lift up the flap it's all there. So make a bit more sense once I actually show you what I'm going to do with this journaling. So that is all cut out into strips, all the excess is cut off. And I'm just going to start with the middle, because I wasn't really sure how it was all going to go, because it's not going to be sort of in one block, it's going to be staggered. So I've started with the middle sentence, and I'm going to stick that down first right around the center of the page, and then I know everything should follow roughly the same spacing, so I'll get it all on the page. I hope this makes sense. I'm going to speed through it in a second and you'll see me pop all the journaling down, but just starting here with my first line. And you guys can't see that pencil mark on camera, but I could see it in real life, just enough to guide me so that I knew where to put these strips. So just starting to stagger it there. So I'm going smaller, obviously, where those squares aren't going to cover it up. And in just a second I'll speed up even faster and you'll be able to see the whole sticking and gluing process. So here we go. So it looks a bit weird now with the page open when you don't realize why I'm doing it this way, but once the flip is closed, there you go. It hides everything neatly. I think that's pretty cool. So I'm just going through now and erasing all my pencil marks quickly. And then I'm going to add this extra strip. This is another piece of one of the cut apart sheets, the specialty sheet, so it is all silver foiled, really pretty. So I just wanted to get another piece of that pretty silver foiling on there, and this piece was just the right length, so I'm just sticking it there right along where the crease is. Trim off the excess, and then I'm going to come in with my Happy Planner sticker book again, and I'm going to finally use some of these silver foiled stickers that I have not used a single one of somehow. I've just never found the occasion to use them, but I'm going to use a bunch on this page. So I'm just going to use 2 of these little light strings to fill out the top of my page here. These are such pretty beautiful silver foiled stickers, so I was going to use as many of them as I possibly could on this layout. So I'm just going through and trying to decide where all my bits and pieces are going to go. So I'm just going to put some in the empty spaces on the craft side of this page there, and that mirrors the gold foiling, silver foiling on those numbers and phrases really nicely. Then I'm just going to sprinkle a few little snowflakes around my photos. And all that is left for me to do is to glue down my page flips. So I'm just adding a little bit of glue all over the back and popping that straight down onto my traveler's notebook. And that is day 25 finished. Close-ups are coming up. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.